Hello everyone, my name is Pedro Noruña and I am 18 years old, and in this video I'm going to explain you what is the Cold War. First of all, let's talk about what is Cold War. The Cold War was a stage of geopolitical tension after World War II between superpowers in the Eastern Bloc and the powers on the Western Bloc. Historically, historians do not fully agree on the dates, but common time frame is the period between 1947, the year of Truman Doctrine, a U.S. foreign policy, bridged the eight nations threatened by Soviet extensionism was announced, and either in 1989 when communism fell in Western Europe or in 1991 when the Soviet Union collapsed. The term cold is used because there was no large-scale fighting directly between two sides, but they each have are major original wars known as proximate wars. Now let's start explaining what was going on in the Cold War. There was capitalism and socialism. First of all, I'm going to explain you what is capitalism. Capitalism is a social system based on the recognition of individual rights, including property rights, in which all property is properly owned. The recognition of individual rights entails the basement of physical force from human relationship. Basically, rights can be violated only by means of force. In capitalism society, no man or group may entertain the use of physical force against others. The only function of the government in such a society is the task of protecting men's rights, the task of protecting him from physical force. The government acts as the agent of men's right of self-defense and may use force only in retaliations and only against those who initiate its use. Um, Thus, the government is means of placing the national use of force under an objective control. And of course, there's a man that started these thinkings, and that man was Adam Smith. That's the co-founder of the capitalism. Now let's talk about socialism. This one is an economic system where everyone in the society equally knows the factor of production. The ownership is actually through a democratically elected government. Um, it could be also be a comparative or a public corporation where everyone owns and shares. Um, the four factors of production are labor, entrepreneurship, and capital goods and natural resources. The co-founder of this term, I think there was two, was Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. The next step that I needed to do was to interview one of my family members or any person. Unfortunately, not everyone speaks English or comprehends it. So I asked a friend of mine that his name is Brenda that could help me. She unfortunately I couldn't be with her in person that to be the interview. But she sent me the audios. I asked her the question and she sent me the format in an audio. And I think that she has a very good answers and a very open mind. So I hope there is no any problem that I could play the audio that she sent me telling me their answer. So I hope you enjoy it.
My name is Brenda Villeda, and I am going to answer some questions like what countries were the world leaders during this period? And it is talking about the Cold War. And I think that the world leaders were USA, Soviet Union, England, and France. The next question says, why did countries who were allies during the wars become enemies afterwards? And I think that they become enemies because when the war ended, the Soviets were concerned about preventing anything like the German invasion from happening ever again. To the Soviets, this meant grabbing territories in Eastern Europe and create a buffer of friendly communist states. The Western allies had wanted these countries to be liberated, and this was combined with evidence that the Soviets had been actively spying on their allies created a lot of the distrust between the allies. The next question says, where did the Cold War take place? And well, I think that the Cold War wasn't a war that was directly and physically fought. It was more accurately a war that could have happened but did not. It involved United States, Russia, Asia, Europe, and parts of Africa, Latin America, especially in Cuba. And the one place that the Cold War manifested physically was Korea during the Korean conflict from 1950 to 1953. And during this time, Soviet-backed North Korea invaded American superior South Korea, involving both militaries and eventually ending in a stalemate. The next question says, what opinion did the general public have of the Cold War? And well, I think that countries saw what happened with Hiroshima and the power of United States and started to prefer the peace and to do not have problems with other countries.
Yeah, that was my friend, and I really love the answers that she gave it to me. I think she has a very good point of view, and yeah. Now my conclusion is, for I have been reading, for I have learned about history of the World War II and the World War One, the Cold War. I think that in these times it's very good to have the peace and with other countries and to not have problems with them, because when they attack, when they start to drop bombs or something like that, and I think they really don't think about the people that are going to suffer about their acts. So the normal people, the civilians, pay for their actions. And I really think that it's good to have the peace and become better persons, and to be happy with other cultures and different persons. And like that, we're going to have more. We're going to be more grateful for our countries. And that's my opinion. I really hope you like this video.